Welcome to the Car Guys, and this week I'm out in the Ferrari 488 Pista Spider. The top is down, the sun is shining, and I've got a few jobs to do. So I've just been to see the new Ferrari 296 GTB at Meridian Modena. Unfortunately, Ferrari won't let me film that car, so I can't really do a video on that like I normally would. So I'm afraid if you're looking for 296 content, you're gonna have to look elsewhere. But what I've got to do today is pick up the 458 Speciale Aperta. Got to make sure it's roadworthy enough to get to Meridian Modena service department. I'll then swap it for the 458 Italia, which has been serviced and MOT'd. And I've also got a couple of extra jobs to do. Number one, I've got to go over to First Choice Detailing and drop off a battery charger for my 993 Carrera 4S, and also check out that car and see if the work is progressing nicely. I've also got to pop over to Hendy Sports Cars in Poole, because rumours are the Lotus Elise Final Edition may have arrived. And if I've got enough time, I'm going to be taking the BMW 750, which is, if you recall and you saw my garage update videos, is languishing in a fairly sorry state. I'm going to take that over to Jake at First Choice Detailing as well, and he has promised to strip the wrap, get it serviced, get it MOT'd, fix the wing mirror, and then do a full detailing on it. So lots to do today. Why not join me? Well, here we are. It's a beautiful sunny day, and I'm just driving between Lyndhurst, which is where Meridian Modena is located, over to First Choice Detailing, which is in Christchurch. This is just the first of many jobs that have to be done today, and I know many of you have been asking to perhaps learn a little bit more about the daily life of running the Car Guys garage. It's not all about reviews, you say. Come on, let's find out about the normal stuff. It does, of course, mean generally lots of nice supercars being driven around, so I suppose it's not the worst thing in the world. But as I alluded to in my garage update video, there are of course an innumerable number of small little jobs that have to be done surrounding the Car Guys garage. Now, as you know, my recently purchased 993 Carrera 4S is getting a full paint correction, detail, treatment and serum-y thing at First Choice Detailing. They are currently filming loads of segments talking about what they're doing to this car, and there will be an episode pretty soon where we reveal the end result and you can find out exactly what needed to be done. It wasn't a bad car, obviously, it was in lovely shape, but because it's come from Scotland, and in Scotland the weather is hardy, you do generally have to do a bit of work to the paint. Sadly, because of the decision by Ferrari to not allow me to film the 296, as some other YouTubers have already done, means I can't really bring you one of my sort of first look, first impression videos. That's a real shame, because obviously I really enjoy doing those, and because I've got a lot of Ferraris and I'm very passionate about Ferrari, obviously it's something I'm very keen to do, and I know it's something that you guys love as well. I could try and sneak a camera in, maybe I could try and sneak a commentary, but I don't think it would be the sort of episode that you or I would expect or tolerate on this channel. So the first order of the day after seeing the 296 GTB is to drop off one of those C-Tech trickle charger-y things to Jake, so that they can make sure that the car stays on that whilst they're doing the work. And then it's off to the Car Guys garage to pick up the Speciale. Here we are at First Choice Detailing for the first stop of the day. Let's go and hand over that battery charger. Okay, so that's First Choice Detailing sorted and the trickle charger delivered, and now I'm on my way to Hendy Sports Cars in Poole to have a look, apparently, at my new Lotus Elise Final Edition. Now, as has been the case through the whole ordering process of this Lotus, there's not been very much communication, and a lot of it has been conflicting and sometimes wrong. So I was quite surprised to hear that my Lotus is in Poole, because I'm supposed to be picking it up from the factory. So not quite sure what's going on there. Hopefully I'll find out today. I think it might be because some of the more bespoke elements of my design have to be done maybe locally or not at the factory. Who knows, but we'll find out in just a minute. Either way, I'm going to get a sneak peek of the car in its raw state before the official reveal, but I'm probably not going to let you see it until everything is absolutely perfect and hopefully at the Lotus factory itself. I have had a lot of you talk about the fact that I do use my cars a lot, and as you can see, yes, I am busy piling on the miles for the Pista Spider, doing what many would consider fairly mundane jobs. I've done 4,600 miles in this car now, which makes it one of the more well-used Pista Spiders. It's not necessarily washed all the time, it's got some cobwebs on the back, as the guys at First Choice Detailing noticed immediately, but my view is that cars like this are meant to be driven. So that's what I'm going to do. Here we are then, bit of traffic, but we managed to get here. We're at Hendy Sports Cars in Poole, the place where I ordered my Lotus Final Edition, and I'm about to go and have a look at it for the first time in its raw state. It's not entirely finished. This is where I turn the cameras off. Right, so that was Hendy Sports Cars Poole, and yes, I did manage to get a quick look at the Lotus Elise Final Edition, my one. Now, as I said, there are a few things that need to be done, and also it needs to be polished and fettled and PPF'd, and it needs some of the decals added. Please check out the specking video for that one. But it is looking epic in that classic racing green, and to be honest, I'm sort of glad I didn't go for that Daytona blue that I really fancied, because as it turns out, the new Emira is sort of in that colour, so people would have thought, well, hang on a minute, why are you copying the Emira? So the classic racing green does look awesome on the car with the anthracite and some of the yellow accents, and I'm sure I'll be trying to work out how to show you that car in the next few weeks. But now it's on to the main part of the day, which is collecting the 458 Speciale and swapping it with the 458 Italia. So here I am back at the Car Guys garage, and in order to get the Speciale Aperta out from there, it of course means a game of Tetris, moving cars out to free up the space. And then of course I've also got the compressor so that I can pump up that offside rear tyre, which we think's got a slow puncture in it. Hopefully that'll be enough to get it over to Meridian. So let battle commence. Here's the little culprit, a flat tyre, as you can see on the rear of the Speciale, but fortunately I've got my trusty colour coordinated compressor, so what we're going to do now is charge this up with compressed air, and then we're going to see if the air in the tyre holds enough to get it to Meridian. Close your ears, folks. Covered in piss. So absolutely no air in it. Let's pump it up. There we go. Should take about 2.1 bar pressure in this one. There you go. So the good news is I can't hear any air escaping. So if it is a slow puncture, then it's very slow, and it means actually I should be able to get to Meridian and drop it off. Okay, after that palaver, it's time to take this yellow beast, get it serviced, and bring back the white 458 Italia. So here we are then in the 458 Speciale Aperta, my favourite car of all time that I've ever owned, and one of my top 5 cars of all time. I have to confess, I have not driven it that much. The pandemic has really hit this car, and I have not been putting many miles on it at all. But getting out of the 488 Pista and straight into this car, the thing you notice straight away is that the steering is 100% better. It's lighter, it's more communicative, so a big tick for the good old 458 there. Also, it feels lighter. It feels a lot more alive and springy and alert, and when you put your foot down it just goes. It's a very light on its toes car, and completely different to the 488 Pista, which does feel actually quite heavy. Sucked down to the road, yes. Ridiculously fast, yes. But this feels really, really sprightly. And just like that, we're in the 458 Italia. So Speciale dropped off, Italia picked up. This is such a fantastic everyday supercar. As soon as you get in it and you remember just how game-changing the 458 Italia was for Ferrari. I mean, this car's now done 16,500 miles. It still feels box fresh. Everything works. It's just a stunning vehicle. I know I bang on and on about 458 Italias and how brilliant they are, but they really are. You never ever can be in a bad mood getting in this car, apart from when the indicators stay on or when they go off too early. Then you can be annoyed. The biggest difference jumping out of the Speciale and into this is the throttle response. The Italia has a hair trigger throttle which can take you by surprise. Mid-corner, mid-roundabout, mid-junction, you can really get in trouble with this car because it is just so sensitive. But everything else is pure magic. I know a white Ferrari is not to everyone's taste, and I can understand that, but for me, this car is perfection. And for all you who still say that the 488 is better than this car because it's faster, you are so wrong. It is not all about the speed. This car is plenty fast, but it's all about the feel, and this car has tons of it. So as you can see, the BMW 750i is looking in a little bit of a sad state. It is worse than it looks though. Mechanically, this car is perfect. It's just been sat here for a bit too long. It needs a decent wash. It's covered in leaves and twigs. It still needs that passenger wing mirror fixed, but apart from that, it runs perfectly. So now it's time to take it down to FCD and they can give it the full works. So here we are back at the Car Guys HQ at the end of a long day, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like what we're doing on the Car Guys, please subscribe, leave comments and likes. There'll be another episode along next week.